here, we saw these two victimized hot girl summer thought box women that decided to go on a girls trip, and we all know what happens on the girls trip.
Professionals are getting the word out about a sexually transmitted form of ringworm that's newly made its way into the U.S. So far, there's one reported case, and it is here in New York.
Think they're doing something good because they replace value with money. They think if they have money, they have value. But what's gonna happen when you get to my age?
Sardine. I'm a money me a blood clot pay. The big pussy taxi boy can't tell me what the blood clot do over. And
I feel like when you truly care about somebody, you don't even want to see them fighting. You don't even want to see them in no situation like that where they could potentially lose their life. Like
They made this whole thing up. So the resort is called Pirates Cove, and they have 16 cameras around the resort, and it basically captured everything. And this account on the Book of Faces has a video that's just full of information. But basically, they said upon further review of their surveillance videos, the allegations made on site and in subsequent social media posts and news stories conflict with what the time-stamped surveillance videos contain. As such, the lengthy videos of all concerned have been handed over to the local police and will be shared with our industry partners as needed. And then the resort goes on to say that the two guys were terminated, but because they violated the zero tolerance policy.
So just so you know, these guys were not terminated because they did anything to these women. It's just they in the surveillance, it was found that they did other things that were against company policy and at the resort. But as you can see here, we saw these two victimized hot girl summer thought box women that decided to go on a girls trip. And we all know what happens on the girls trips. They're in the Bahamas. They wanted to get some BBC. They wanted to get piped down away from their small Midwest town and their boring husbands and their boring life. And of course they went here to get blacked. And that's exactly, in my opinion, that's exactly what happened. And then of course they come back and spin a victim's narrative that all this happened to them. And I have no idea why. I rack my brain all the time in trying to figure out, why would a woman do something like this? Is it because they slept with them without using protection, and perhaps they could have caught something, so they're thinking we have to come up with a story about this? Or perhaps they wanted to get money for a lawsuit. They regretted it the next day. These men, it wasn't as good as they thought. I don't know. I come across so many stories of women just lying on men, making up false allegations of rape. And this is very serious because there are real women that have gone through this. There's women and men that have gone through this. And we are not going to keep believing these victims because hot boxes like these, absolute city girls like this, decide to go somewhere. And then, we have to bring in the racial component in this as well. These two white Midwest moms decided to go they're in this other country, in Bahamas, a poorer country, knowing that they have a higher economic status than these men, knowing them being two white moms, they're going to be believed. And again, you guys know I don't make everything about race, but this just shows the entitlement of the Western feminists and why men around the world cannot trust the Western feminist, cannot trust the Western woman, no matter what color she is. This is her MO. If it suits her, if it's something that she can gain from making a false accusation on you, she is going to believe. All she has to do is shed a few crocodile tears, claim that you did something, and then you will be charged. You will be fired. I don't know how any man in the world is still dealing with a Western woman.
Here's a timeline according to their footage. The girls entered the property at 8:17 in the morning. They were greeted by staff at 8:24. Then at 9:40, one of the girls met with one of the guys who's being accused. Then at 10:06, you can see them, looks like they're walking arm in arm with these two guys. They were headed towards the western side of the beach where the alleged incident took place. Now check out this video and then listen to what they have to say about it.
Refused to let us see a U.S. physician or a carnival physician.
Refused to let us have get done immediately. Made us go to the bathroom.
Guys, they wouldn't even give us a hit after we had been raped. They refused. They made us go to the bathroom and use toilet tissue, and they collected toilet tissue as their specimens.
And then they did an alcohol test on us like we were just super drunk. We had hardly any alcohol in our system at all.
Well, the resort says that their EMS offered medical assistance to both of the girls, but they declined and even signed a waiver. And then they left for the cruise ship in a private vehicle. But knowing the gravity of the incident, their officers boarded the cruise ship, providing an SA kit and hospital form to the ship's medical doctor. So that's completely different than what the girls are saying. And just to throw in there, there is now a GoFundMe with a $10,000 goal. Apparently, it's to help raise money for medications that they need that help prevent certain diseases.
Health professionals are getting the word out about a sexually transmitted form of ringworm that's newly made its way into the U.S. So far, there's one reported case, and it is here in New York. CBS 2's Christy Kalishian shares what doctors know so far.
It's an infection that comes from the same fungus linked to conditions you may know of, like ringworm, jock itch, and athlete's foot.
What makes this case a little bit different is it is a type of ringworm that can cause more inflammatory type lesions, and it can occur in the groin area or the genital area.
Dr. Avram Kaplan led the study and authored a report published in the journal JAMA Dermatology earlier this week on trichophyton mentagraphites type 7, or TM7. It's a sexually transmitted infection that can appear like this in the groin area and can be itchy. So far, the one reported case in the U.S. is in New York City. A man in his 30s, the report says.
It was reported in a journal, which tells you that it's new. We're still learning about it. Because it's just this one case, I think we're really starting to understand how could this have happened.
The study says the patient noticed itchy lesions after a trip to England, Greece, and California, where he said he had sex with multiple male partners.
Me never raise no batty man. Me raise a gallus. My son. You understand that?
If they have a persistent itchy or painful lesion or eruption around the genital area of the buttocks, that's when they should be seeking medical advice.
The rash could be mistaken for other conditions. If left or improperly treated, it could lead to infection. Doctors say it is treatable thanks to antifungal therapies. City Health Commissioner Dr. Ashwin Vasan says the doctor's office is always judgment-free.
Shame always gets in the way of getting healthy. So I would say never feel ashamed to go reach out to your doctor.
Doctors say communicating with your partner about having conditions like this is key in preventing the spread. Christy Kalishian, CBS 2 News.
I was younger in your age, was not so free and accessible. You know, women that sleep around, nobody would take them seriously or marry them or want to get into a relationship with them. Today, with and everything, women think they're doing something good because they replace value with money. They think if they have money, they have value. But what's going to happen when you get to my age, you realize that you didn't surround yourself by good men and good people that protect you. Because if a woman have a good upbringing, surrounded by a good brother, good friends, good family, she would never go to this route. She would protect herself, because the emotional and psychological damage that happened to women after they've been in a professions, it's going to damage you so bad. So even if you make $20 million or $100 million, you can never replace your emotional and physical damage that you're doing to yourself. So every DNA that you have in your body from every man, it's what's going to make you sick from the inside for the rest of your life. And it's no money that could repair that.
Taxi boy, I know. I don't know who this is some pussy taxi boy. Rock over your mother big pussy. You can't tell me for rock over. You know, put them around there, so you want to pack up people like blood clot sardine. And my money me a blood clot pay. Now big pussy taxi boy can't tell me what the blood clot do, but rock over and dictate and they are stinking mama suck good boy. Wrong with me, no taxi boy.
Ain't trust nobody who don't admit when they wrong. How can you trust that person? They don't admit when they wrong, so that means they cool with you going in the wrong direction. That's crazy, right?
They ain't gonna say shit.
Ain't gonna say nothing. So they gonna watch you self-destruct or fail.
Her friend, and she was sloppy drunk, and she was doing too much. She accidentally knocked the drink over of the guy that was sitting at the bar. She knocked it on him. So naturally he was pissed off. And he was like, you know, basically kind of like, hey, watch what you doing. Like, look, you just knocked my drink on me. She got aggressive and all in his face, finger in his face, da-da-da-da-da. And then I'm about to get my brother. I'm about to go get my brother to do something to you type. You know what I'm saying? And granted, when I hear stuff like that, when I hear I'm about to go get this person, and the person that you saying that to is still sitting there, that means they're not worried. That means they might have something that you need to be worried about. You know what I'm saying? And I guess the part about that you know angers me the most, because I ain't stick around and found out what happened, but the part about that angers me the most, this was your fault. Like, your fault. And you could be potentially putting your brother, cousin, husband, boyfriend in a situation to really get hurt because you want to act like you can, you know, you tough and, oh, my brother can do this and do that. I feel like when you truly care about somebody, you don't even want to see them fighting. You don't even want to see them in no situation like that where they could potentially lose their life. Like, especially over something as small as spilling a drink. You should have bought this man another drink because you did spill it. You should have apologized, and then that would have been that. But now you gonna make it escalate to something bigger than it needs to be. I can't stand when people do that. I'm gonna go get my brother, my cousin. People ain't fighting these days.